It looks like he's going to go to another foundation, Braverman, Haiti, and Me, sort of in the tradition of Roger and Me that Michael Moore did. What I'd like him to do is come with me to Haiti to look at all the expenditures, the $7 billion of USAID expenditures that he established through this interim Haiti Relief Commission. And just let's go to the different sites and see where the money was spent and see how effectively it was spent in Haiti. At this point also, I'm also would like to talk about the covert activities of the Clinton Foundation with him as well in Haiti with Sid Blumenthal, Osprey Global. If you remember Osprey Global, that's the one that Sid hired in Libya and Syria, and I'm also saying that Osprey Global is a client in Haiti as well. And I'll show you why I think that. So I mentioned before these plans, these operational plans that David Petraeus did. These are more at their strategic level, but General Grange is more of a get-it-done guy. He's a more tactical guy with the Rangers, Delta Force, and so forth, and he's brought in to Haiti, not Haiti, in this case, Libya. This is the plan for Libya, along with the help of his other partner in the business, which is Tyler Drumheller, which is the CIA operational plans. You need to know where the oil is. You need to know where everything is economically before you attack. You don't want to attack in places and then find out, oh, there's nothing there. That's why you need CIA people that are more economic officers, or that NOC, that non-official covert officer. You need these NOCs to tell these guys where to attack and then make assessments all along the way during an invasion, okay? So this is the NOC school, as I mentioned before. You've got David Petraeus, who came to the school in 2003 through Paula Broadwell to basically teach these. These are economic spies, if you will. Now there is some training that is done there on torture, and then there's other training done for U.S.-based folks for the FBI counterterrorism that's more focused on asset forfeiture. But for the international school, the foreign policy school, it's to create economic leverage. And what you're going to do before you do an attack is you're going to compromise all the generals. You're going to use, it would be nice if they had the Russian plan is these super spies, these women that are kind of like Natashas that speak 12 languages and know everything there is to know about oil or whatever. And then the NOC program is trying to get the U.S. there. But until then, you can pick up you traffic women, and that's why you have to compromise the police forces in these countries, Canada in this case. You get these women, very beautiful, and then you film them with these brownstone operations, and that now you have control of the police force. Once you have control of the police force, then you can exert your control in the otherwise women like this wouldn't say a group of 8 policemen gang raped me in Vancouver, Washington, or Vancouver, Canada. So this is the Pug Winokur move. And you also have men as well. You're going to have men that need to, like Eric Braverman and Neil Brown, you need to train the men to go in to be able to do these oil assessments and so forth to direct the military planning. And you have a cover. You have a cover. You know, you can use let's say a very large rugby team the size of an Ohio State football team, and you can, give scholarships to certain people. You can kind of hide it. Hitler used to do that. He used to hide non-commissioned officers, and they had all these bicycle clubs all over Germany. So anyway, if it wasn't a school for spies, then why is Claude Destry at the bombing, at the Boston Marathon bombing, right there on this film? I mean, unless these guys are not the same people. And then you have people that, talk about these programs and then end up dead. So economically, I won't touch on this much, but you're going to find Robert Rubin is at the center of this. It's the same group of folks. When you want to fund operations like DynCorp, you use the Secretary of Treasury, and then you give it out through, let's say, drug trials. So you get all your friends basically in the drug business or the high-tech business, and you funnel research projects through them. And some of that money is then funneled through to covertly as a cover for DynCorp or Osprey Global. So that's how it works. Robert Rubin's also the guy who did the Arkansas Development Fund all the way back when they were doing the money laundering in Arkansas for the Mina Airport operation. That was $100 million. This is a lot bigger operation. This is $400 million a week. That was only $100 million a month. So, and again, that's why Hillary destroys the files. That's where the money's going. The $6.5 million in the Treasury is going to these covert operations. And here again, Cynthia McKinney, pointed it out that the 2.3 billion missing from the Department of Defense was DOD. DOD is why the government can't balance its books, and that's why it's a covert operation. And she also mentioned, why are we giving government contracts to a company that DynCorp gets caught over and over and over again? By the way, this is a time to be aware of the Super Bowl. Don't let your daughter run alone, especially, anyway. So this is the Fred Eshelman. He's the head of PPD. They do clinical trials for Adventus, okay, which is one of Hillary's big clients. And they get about $25 million a trial, I think somewhere in there, $25 million to $30 million. So they've been getting about $50 million a year. And guess who's the CEO of PPD? It was David Grange. He basically was the CEO for just until recently, I believe. And you might wonder, what is a retired general doing as a CEO of a clinical trial company? He's a doctor, so wouldn't you have... Well, the reason is that you need a population to test your vaccines on. You're going to find the Duke Medical School is going to be doing a lot of vaccine development here, trials and testing and so forth. In Haiti, there's reports of forced vaccinations on the kids, okay? There's deaths. They say it's cholera, but it's very unusual for when your child dies after going to the hospital to not be able to see your kids. They're put in body bags immediately, and we don't know where they go. Now, I think they're going back to Duke Medical Center to evaluate how the drug worked or didn't work. And I think these deaths are related to clinical trials. Now, the 250,000 DynCorp body bags, I think that's for something else. I think these trials are going to be limited to 4,000 or 5,000 kids at a time. So you're going to see UNICEF dotted all around Haiti, and you're going to see that's where you're going to be running different clinical trials, and there's going to be a lot of different drugs at any one time being developed, okay? So, and that's why you have, Haiti's really three areas. The first area is kind of like they call the North or Nord. The second area is the Central, you can see that, or Centre, dans Francais, and then the Sud down here, the South. Okay, those are the three areas. And I'm going to show how General Grange, this goes back to 2014, you make a landing here, expand your footprint. That's where you establish what they call a perimeter, and then you're going to do all your development inside the perimeter. Why? Because that's where the oil is, that's where the gold is, that's where all the stuff is. So that's where you're going to have all your development. Sure enough, when the earthquake happened, that's where the development was. Then you want a middle zone, a buffer zone. This is always going to be your UN peacekeepers with a buffer zone. That's where you're going to do all your medical testing. So the reason why you had the cover of the cholera here is you have to explain these deaths somehow, and you have to explain to the parents why they can't see the kids. These bodies are going back to Duke Medical Center, and they're being triaged. So in a way, it's advancing science, and so these folks say, well, somebody had to die, and in order to advance science to save millions. It's always that same trade-off thing. I just think we're on a slippery slope here as far as morality, that's all. So... and if you look at what Monica Petersen studied, she went right there and started saying why she was up here in that north part of Haiti, saying why is all the development up here? I don't get it. So she also had the cell phones. This is going to be for the South. So for the North, you have all the goodies, and for the South, you have all the baddies. You have that's why Digicel is in the South, because you're going to do micro loan sharking to the people in the South. And you're going to take that population down until it's so weak, then you're going to take over the rest of Haiti. But it's a 1, 2, 3. Going to go north, then Nord, Centre, Sud. That's going to be your three-step process in Haiti. And this is the same process that Slim's done all over. This is the Mexico. Same thing for Mexico. And it's every Middle Eastern country. All things divided into three parts is Petraeus's hallmark. Is Caesar's hallmark, if you want to go all the way back to Caesar and Alexander the Great. Divide the three tribes up, get the two fighting against each other, get them down, then against the two, and then finally get rid of all the tribes. That is the MO. Her master's thesis, I think, says a lot about this. I think there's a big hole in her. We don't have anything from her for about 9 months, or 11 months, excuse me, from social media. So Did she just visit the North, or did she go to the Centre and the Sud? We don't know. But it'd be nice if they had published the thesis and we'd find out. So, as I said before, this just proves it. I'd like Braverman to come down with me. We can look at all these investments that we did up here. A brand new international airport, a brand new improved area for the cruise line, a huge passenger or a huge port there for container ships and oil terminal, huge new State Department built prison there. So you can just see that they're locking down the North completely. Okay, there's a big range of mountains here that they call the Col d'On. I can't say it right in French, but anyway, then the center is going to be all your area for your area for experimentation and tests and so forth. And those people from Denver University, and it's also going to be Duke University. You're going to find, and again, you're going to have that what do you call it? I can't remember lacrosse cover, and they're probably going to play a lacrosse tournament down here. But anyway, you have to have those economic guys to come in and gals to look at it and say, okay, well, here's what we should do next. Let's run a drug trial for this vaccine for antibiotics over here, and we'll run a vaccine over here for cholera and one over here for. They spread it around so you can't get the whole picture easily. But it's going to be in your 30 UNICEF sites, and you're going to see those people from Duke going to those 30 different sites for this different drug testing here in the middle. And you see, here's where the epicenter of the earthquake was, and here's where all the USAID money went. You can do what Braverman said, just follow the money. So again, body bags. Why body bags? For the cholera victims, where the parents don't even see their kids. And when you do, and here's where the satanic stuff is always wrong. It's always a cover. And I know people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but you're going to have deaths when you do this. When you do these kind of tests, you have to go to toxicity. And what the doctors really want to know is how much is an overdose and when do we start hitting toxicity. So you have to generate dead bodies. And if you do, you can probably ruin the kidneys from the testing, but you can still save the heart, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these again, this is the rationalization. Well, we had to do the testing and we may as well use the organs now. So, I don't know if George Bush and Barbara went in for a new heart or not, but David Rockefeller's gone in 5 times, so we may as well use the heart. So they're not thinking about, I killed a kid to get this heart. They were dead anyway. So anyway, there's the cruise terminal they improved, huge new airport, and this guy Martelly is going to be their star. He's going to be their star, and I'll explain how they're going to take over the rest of Haiti here in a second. But I'm not making this up. There's 15,000 that the Syrian government said that are missing, the childs that are getting trafficked. This part is heinous. This is what they give to the tribes to make money, which is a heinous practice. This practice over here, if the guy was dying anyway, and so they yanked out the heart before he died, I don't know exactly what happened in this case, but I do know they put him in a DynCorp body bag. This is a heinous practice where you do the micro loan sharking, and then women are having to pay for their kidney with a sewing machine loan with a kidney because they've got so much interest on their loan. So again, I don't think I have to prove the point. DynCorp with Kosovo, DynCorp in Afghanistan, DynCorp everywhere. So these movies and books are good because they get part of the story right, or this part of the story right, but they don't get the whole story. They always a slice. They don't present the whole story. So again, you would think this is a slice if you said, Jeffrey Epstein's a really bad guy, but it's actually a part of a whole economic spying ring, and it's DynCorp. So the DynCorp is going to be the economic spying as well as the operational planning for the actual military operations as well as the police. All three. There's Drumheller. He did this. He was the one who did this and showed Jeffrey how to do it. So anyway, this is all going to be in the 650,000 emails. It's going to be a combination of this kind of connect the dots thing that I'm doing so that you know how to ask the right questions to the emails. The criminals and the conspirators are not stupid enough to say, please send George Bush a heart, during the, inauguration. It's a perfect cover. May as well get Barbara one too. They're not going to say that. They're going to say, there's going to be a code like, Perkova or whatever the model is, Happy Hearts Foundation is having a thing today, that kind of thing. Here's an email from Happy Hearts or whatever. So, but at least it'll it's the other half of the Jello box. It's the other half of the code, is what I mean. So again, if this really was a law enforcement organization, they would be getting everybody's cell phones. They would be tracking everybody in Haiti to try to find Monica Petersen, as well as they'd be trying to find those kids that went in the body bags and said, what happened to them? So if it is a covert operation, which I think it is, I still think it's worth going down there and finding out with Braverman and myself what happened on an economic point of view. And let's look into these vaccine trials. Let's go to the 30 different UNICEF places and let's start talking to the villagers and see if kids have disappeared and where the parents didn't see them again. So, and again, I'm not the one saying this. The 40-year cop is saying this, that the emails are full of child exploitations and sex crimes. The reason Haiti broke out sex crimes from child exploitation. Sex crimes is the trafficking. Child exploitation is using them for vaccination tests. Okay. So, and then money laundering, pay to play, all this sort of thing. And then we have the, physical, photographic evidence, of who we're dealing with here. So that's it for today. Again, if the conspirators weren't going to Epstein's Island, I would feel differently, and Preet still looking over at himself in the mirror in Time magazine. So the title of the series now is Braverman, Haiti, and Me. Thank you.